The boatman's ghostly grip, a funeral rite, the noose around the tribal woman's neck. This isn't exactly a story, nor is it something I witnessed firsthand. It's more of an account shared by Patra Da, a guest of our storyteller grandfather, who visited us in Kolkata. The incident happened in his village. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. Let me just narrate the events as they unfolded. The village of Noro is an ancient, almost historic settlement. Within its boundaries lie a cremation ground, two massive rivers, vast fields, and what was once a dense forest, though now it's barely thick. It's home to everyone, from the ancient Santhal tribe to the most modern urbanites. The protagonist of this tale is a milkman's son named Ashes. When I arrived in the village, it was the final day of this eerie episode. For the past 3 days, poor Ashes had endured relentless beatings, slaps, kicks from torn shoes, and the suffocating smoke of dried chilies being burned. His body was battered, yet he bore it all with a strange, silent smile. What crime had he committed to deserve such torment? Strangely, despite everything, he endured it all without protest, which only deepened my curiosity. When I asked Ajit Babu about it, he revealed the truth. 2 days earlier, on a Saturday afternoon, Ashes had taken his cattle to graze in the field. After the harvest, the land was empty, and the dry riverbed was rich with grass, so the herd stayed put. Ashes, tired, lay under an argent tree and drifted into a deep sleep. When he woke, dusk had fallen. To his shock, a dried palm frond, a whole tall leaf, lay draped over his body. There was no one around, just the cattle still grazing. He looked around carefully. No other trees stood nearby. But then he noticed a palm tree had grown as a parasite on the very argent tree under which he slept. Maybe a branch from it had fallen on him. But wouldn't such a large leaf have woken him when it fell? Then how? The thought unsettled him, though not immediately. He returned home with the cattle, but the real trouble began that night. As he slept, he felt his navel sinking deeper and deeper into his body. There was no pain, just an unbearable discomfort that kept him awake. When he told his parents, they took him to a doctor the next day. The doctor, suspecting jaundice, prescribed medicine and ordered blood tests. But the results showed no sign of illness. Then, at noon, another horror began. After lunch, Ashes lay down for a nap on the veranda. In his sleep, he felt someone gripping his hand, pulling him outside. No matter how hard he resisted, he couldn't ignore the call. Helpless, he rose from his bed. His father, who had been watching him closely since morning, saw him get up. The moment Ashes stepped down, his father began thrashing him with a broom, then burned dried chilies and forced him to inhale the smoke. He even tried whatever exorcism rituals he knew to ward off evil spirits. For a while, it worked. But at night, Ashes grew frantic, desperate to answer the ghostly summons. His family could no longer control him. Finally, they tied him up with ropes. Ashes, in his lucid moments, had begged them to do exactly that. Because when the call came, a madness overtook him, one he couldn't explain. Outside those moments, he remained perfectly normal. The next day, they called the famous exorcist from Kanchanpur cremation ground. The moment he arrived, an eerie calm settled over the place. No one saw or heard anything, yet the air itself felt lighter, as if countless unseen beings had fled. When I reached the scene, the exorcist had already used his powers to show Ashes, through his own fingernails, an image of the argent tree. Ashes recognized it instantly, even though the exorcist's eyes were shut. Then, in that same vision, everyone saw it, a tribal woman's body hanging from the argent tree's branch, a noose around her neck. Her feet dangled just a few inches above the ground, right where Ashes had slept that afternoon. The truth became clear. Before the exorcist even opened his eyes, the argent tree suddenly uprooted itself and collapsed into the river. He blessed Ashes and left, heading toward Majipara, the Santhal settlement. Later, we learned that years ago, a Santhal woman had hanged herself there after a fight with her husband. In his anger, he had denied her proper funeral rites. Perhaps, thanks to the exorcist, her soul had finally found peace.